Hello and welcome back to another game of StarLadder Star Series. It is still day 12. This is the fourth of 5 games and we are gonna see Sigma versus SSD. Of course, I'm not by myself. Still in the house is of course with us our statsman and the person that is new for today, G-Advance. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, and just to go for the stand-ins real fast because there's a lot of stand-ins. So, Sigma first, we've got Exist, who we of course know. He is a strong player. We've no Turtle Master. He's actually Small Gulik, so that's a Swedish player right there that we know from way back. Then on the side of... There's a lot of Swedish stand-ins here, by the way, because on the side of Super Strong Dinosaurs, we already just saw Joker standing in for Alliance. That is Pyket. The one with a lot of M's to his name is Misery. That's right. More Swedes? I think he's Swedish. Or is he Danish? He might actually be Danish. Oh well. And then we've got...
I think Misery is Danish.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Well, it's still Scandinavian, you know, it's all the same. Sorry people, I don't mean to offend anybody by that. But the last one is Garter. Of course, the stand-in that we've seen a lot of as well, and he actually uses his real name. Thank you. But a lot of stand-ins here for this match, I have to say. We'll see what they can make of it, though. We'll see.
Yeah, and that might be a limiting factor for both these teams, because generally these are teams that do sort of, you know, fixed strategies, they have their own style. Sigma particularly are very well known for just winning the lanes. That is their primary thing that they've done a lot. This patch has really helped them because dual lanes are just, well, they're not actually made better, but defensive tri-lanes have been made worse, which subsequently makes defensive, or not defensive, sorry, dual lanes a lot more common. Looks like Sigma are going for dual lanes anyway though, giving Mirana Bane very strong dual lane.
Yeah, yeah, they already just go for a bit of standard picking, if you call it that. I mean, it's a fairly known combination, been done in pubs, been done in pro plays, and we've seen it a lot lately. Let's take a quick look at the scores for these teams. So far, SSD, they've only played 6 games out of the 17 games that a team has to play before being done with this group stage. SSD have actually been doing really well. They have played 6 or won 5, only lost 1 of their games, so indeed doing quite good there. Sigma International... Well, they're flawless up until now, at least. We are going to see 2 games from them, so they will be having played 5 games today. But for now, only 3 games, but all 3 won. So looking pretty sharp. We'll see if they can hold on to that flawless record, or if SSD or Aspera is going to be putting a stain on that record, because those are the 2 teams that they will face tonight, as we have got... You know which hero I lately miss a lot? Well, we saw him last game actually, but Lich. We don't see Lich that much anymore. Not even banned out that much anymore. I guess he got kind of overrated by teams.
The thing was, is Lich came out and people were like, oh my god, this hero makes XP from nowhere. That's completely imbalanced and amazing. But you still have the same problem with Lich, is that he's ultra passive. He's one of the most passive heroes. I would say even maybe the most passive hero in Dota, next to like Faceless Void. And at least Faceless Void, you know, once you get him into the mid or late game, he starts going really aggressive. But Lich, always a very, very defensive, very safe hero. He's got a very low skill cap as well, which is a problem, because it's easy to dodge his ulti or make it do less as long as you haven't really committed to a fight. So he's not the sort of hero that professional players really want to be picking up, you know?
No, you want to have a hero that you can actually shine with, that you can make a big difference with, you know, with little gimmickies, with actually, you know, skill, indeed, as you call it, low skill cap. But maybe we'll see him still, but for now I don't think so. At least SSD, they've got themselves a Venomance and an Alchemist, which could very well be their 2 supports. Could also be an Venom or an Alchemist carry, of course, as we did see Pyket play that 2 games ago. And for Sigma, I mean, Mirana could, in theory, be a support. I'm expecting her not to be, though. But Sigma, they have used Mirana in every single role possible. So we can't really say anything about that just yet. We've seen them use it solo mid, we've seen them in the safe lane, we've seen Miguel in the off lane with it. It's just all still very possible, as Rubik gets picked up by SSD, so that means Alchemist hereby revealed as not to be a support.
Yeah, he's probably going to be in the carry role, given that they have a Rubik and a Venomancer. Those are both heroes who can really get him a lot of farm during the early game. Venomancer, he'll probably be spending a fair amount of time jungling. Rubik's probably just going to sit with that Alchemist, though. Make sure he gets that GPM early up. It'll be interesting to see, though, how Sigma lane the heroes they've picked up so far. Puck, almost certainly going to be solo mid. I don't think we really see her anywhere else. It's, you know, it's all about what super strong dinosaurs want to draft now, and Sigma will choose how to do things from there on. I think they might go aggressive. It's a little bit dangerous going versus a Venomancer with an aggressive lane, though.
Yeah, we'll see what they choose to go for. I mean, a lot of options still there. Even with the Venomancer, if you are gonna go aggressive, a Venomancer, I find him mostly strong if he is the one chasing people down. But if you're not afraid to run, if you're not gonna run away, then he's not as strong as he otherwise would be. So we'll see. Lion picked up by Sigma. That's a hero that I haven't seen in a while. We do know that Fada sometimes plays that solo mid, but this game of course has a puck in it. So I'm afraid that this is just gonna be a normal Lion support with Zap powers. A lot of disable coming out from him.
I really want to see this solo mid. I almost certainly don't think it will be unless they run an aggressive tri lane and put the puck solo safe lane. That is possible.
Yeah.
But I really want to see Lion solo mid because, as you say, Fata does play it occasionally, and it's cool as hell. If this hero gets some serious farm, he actually becomes really, really powerful. He casts a lot of very dangerous spells. Nature's Prophet picked up for super strong dinosaurs there. A little bit of a safe bet really there. It's a kind of, you draft that when you're not really sure what you want to do. It's a very, very safe hero to go with though.
Yeah, you can never really go wrong with the Nature's Prophet. One thing that SSD is missing right now is still their mid. We have a Templar Assassin still in the pool, which is a natural counter to the puck, so we'll see what they end up going for and if Sigma is gonna ban that out. They actually ban out the Bat Rider. So that's not gonna be, it's gonna be still a Templar Assassin in the pool. Interestingly enough, we'll see if SSD will go for that. It all depends on who they're gonna try to put mid, because with 3 stand-ins, everything is up in the air, I think. In terms of who takes which.
Yeah, who's gonna go into the mid? Isn't Garter generally a mid player? I think that's where he ended up being known for. He's essentially a pub stomper though, isn't he?
Yeah,
I don't think he's on any official team.
He is not in any official team. He has been standing in for KP once they were still KP a lot of times. In mid-roll indeed. He played a lot of Magnuses, to be honest. But yes, he stood in mostly on support roles, but on mid roles. But we've also seen him standing in on support roles, depending on what the team needed from him. So I guess, time will tell. Sigma, they will go for the StarLadder, so that is gonna be a hero that they copied from Rock's Kiss earlier today. But StarLadder with Bane, we mentioned that Mirana Bane is a good combination. StarLadder Bane as well, because a Nightmare can hold people into place until StarLadder is around to crush them. That is very strong coming out from Sigma. And of course Lion, as well, with the disable to buy time for StarLadder to get in range for that crush. Gyrocopter will be the last pickup from SSD. That will mean that we are most likely gonna see,
I think it'll be a solo mid Alchemist now.
It could be. But Come With Me picked it up. If he is indeed
interesting to see what their lanes are gonna be. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a look at who is playing what. We'll start off with Sigma, because then we have some time for SSD to move to the lanes. I think Sigma is a bit easier to read in that regard, less stand-ins. We've got Fada playing his puck, so yes, he will be going middle. Shockska, however, hello. I think his Shockska is at least France. If you could check that for me, that would be great. But he is playing the Lion.
Yeah, I'll get on.
I think he might be a farming Lion. It could also be a farming StarLadder, which would make more sense. Exist will play the StarLadder. Miguel will play the offlane Marana. So far everything is still going bottom. And Turtle Master, Smuggle, who is indeed normally playing a support if he is standing in for teams, he'll play the Bane. It really all depends on who fronts is. If that actually is Shockska.
No, it's actually fucking mad.
Or if it happens to be mad.
Yeah,
that's a support Lion then. Okay.
Okay.
30 seconds to battle.
Well.
Alright, and on the side of SSD, we have... who's Joker now? I have to search this up.
Joker is a Pycat.
Alright, so Pycat, he's going to be playing on the Gyrocopter. Looks like they are actually going aggressive here. They're going to be with Come With Me and Misery. Come With Me is picking up the Alchemist. Misery is going to be on the Rubik, possibly in an aggressive tri-lane. Arise, looks like he's going to be going solo mid here with the Venomancer. And last but not least, it's going to be the stand-in Garter, actually going solo safe lane Nature's Prophet. These really aren't the lanes I expected from them.
Likewise, but perhaps that's exactly what they plan to do. I do like the Venomancer mid because, you can dodge the kill, of course, as a puck, but you can't dodge the poison that comes out from the harass that the Venomancer throws at him. And we've seen Venomancer solo mid. He can definitely stay alive and just be so annoying. He'll place wards across your your high ground, and you'll constantly be forced to last it under your tower, and that means also that Venomancer will have the rune control, and as long as they get their Nature's Prophet and their Gyrocopter a decent amount of farm, then it won't matter that the Venomancer indeed falls off later on. We already see the harassment coming out though, because it is a dual lane with Mirana Bane, and a dual lane bottom as well with the Lion and the StarLadder. We'll see how that StarLadder can do something here, if he can actually get some farm, because if he doesn't get farm, StarLadder is going to be falling off real fast. He is one of those heroes that needs that early start, for that good start for him.
Yeah, definitely. StarLadder's late game capability is, well, it's pretty bad. It maybe once he's got a lot of points up in Bash, but really he's a very mid-game focused hero. It looks like they're going to take on France here though.
Yeah, they try to go for Matt, but Matt, he'll live. Rocket Barrage getting split out. In the meantime, I like what Garter is doing. He's making sure that, I mean, he got Nightmared there, but he had some Traians up, and the Traians blocked the path of the arrow for Miguel, so he's doing a good job with that. Now he doesn't have any mana though. One more clarity left, but he already just got one ticked off, so we'll see how he continues doing here. As long as he can at least get levels, he should be okay. Nature's Prophets are known for getting back into the game purely off the back of their Hand of Midas and their ultimate, so in the meantime, we do have a gank. Telekinesis coming up. They want to have Fada. He still has got... Actually, he doesn't have a phase shift, but he is able to orb himself away. So no successful gank coming in, and Misery will walk back towards the bottom lane, where it is Come With Me that might be in some trouble. The haste comes on for Exist. He goes for the block. Come With Me already charging up the stun, though. Will stun up Exist, and with the haste there, that extra damage that he'll take, he has to be so careful with that, because the Rocket Barrage, if he gets caught out by that and he's by himself, then he most likely will die from that.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a real issue with having StarLadder versus a Gyrocopter. It sounds great because he's great at closing the distance, but he takes a ton of damage.
Yeah, there they go. They throw it to Sun as well. This is your first blood right here. One more hit needed. The haste, yeah, that's not going to help out. Does make sure that Rubik gets a kill and not Joker. But Misery is going to be very happy with that. Picks up Boots. Has, of course, now also got the gold to upgrade the Courier in 30 seconds. I like this one when he walks better, though. He looks mean, however. But I like that. I like the horse when he walks. It's way better than flying with you know, rainbows coming out of his ass. But yeah, I mean, that's a good start of SSD for sure. This aggressive tri-lane so far paying off.
Yeah, it's a pretty smart aggressive tri-lane. I mean, we saw them try to gank mid on the Fata, and I thought that was a little bit of a mistake given they sent the Rubik to do that. Rubik has, I mean, notoriously low base damage as well as early nuke damage, and given you're going up against a puck, that's really not a great decision. What I think, if they're going to try and gank that mid lane, they should definitely send Come With Me to do it. And one way that they could possibly bait out the phase shift, if they just tried to throw the Gale on Fata in the mid lane before the gank actually comes in, then Come With Me might actually have a chance to hit that unstable concoction. Otherwise, they're just not going to have the damage to kill the puck.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Might have just been to scare him off, perhaps a bit, to give some space to Arise. Arise so far sitting on 11 for 4 with Fada sitting on 13 to 8, so he's actually getting a bit ahead in last hits. I'm not sure how long that will last though, because once those wards get up for Venomancer, he still only got some level 1, and you can't really place them at level 1 because that's just feeding gold to Fada at that point. So you need to get them
level
higher
1 wards
level.
is just free money.
Yes.
Free money, definitely, if you get put out of the level 1 wards. Arise sort of has a harass advantage in this lane. Every time he right-clicks on onto Fata, he's going to do a ton of extra damage. The issue, though, for him is that Fata has a massive base damage difference over him. He's doing almost 70 damage.
They're gonna go bottom. They're gonna go for the Bane. Throws out the stun before the Nightmare can hit. The Rocket Barrage is gonna be there. Brain Sap as well, though. Turtle Master, Smoogalik still alive, but no, one more hit will do the job. Another kill going the way of the Rubik. The Sprout up on Matt. He eats his way out. The Rocket Barrage won't reach him. Maybe Garda can get it. The stun still being thrown out. Gets on Exist, actually. Or he stunned himself, and Exist got hit by that as well. The Rocket Barrage Exist will go down. Lion still dropped as well to the Nature's Prophet. This is 4 heroes bottom, which is, of course, something you can do when you have a Nature's Prophet in the mix. And this is, once again, this aggressive tri-lane just really paying off. However, Miguel is doing really well top, so he is going to be the one, together with Fada, to bring this game back in favor of Sigma. They are the 2 heroes that are highest on last hits in the nice, compared to everybody, so not just for their team, but for the entire map.
Yeah, and stuff like this is why I think SSD, as far as I'm concerned, is my favourite sort of outlier team. They consist of all the players who, and this is not just me saying this, I think Blitz quoted this, but they're like all the rejects and all the people you don't want in your team, and they've all come together to form a really good team. Remember, Sigma is by no means a slouch. This is one of the top 4 teams from MLG Columbus.
Yep.
A relatively new team still, but SSD currently are putting the smackdown on them with this aggressive tri-lane, and I think that's a smart way of dealing with the dual lanes, is to put someone pretty safe on the top lane who's not likely to die. As you said before, Garter's able to block the arrow with the Nature's Call, really smart move from him. And in the meantime, he can also teleport down to the bottom lane to turn this, what is now going to be a 3v3, as they've decided to rotate the Bane, I believe. Although he's going mid at the moment.
Yeah, wants to try and take down a Venomancer. They will be able to do it. The Brain Sap takes it. So that's Moguluk with a kill. Good kill. And we'll put Fada a bit more ahead. He was already ahead in last hits. Surpassed that Venomancer a long time ago. And they need this, because they need the Mirana and the Puck to be doing so well that they can make up for the loss that this StarLadder and the Lion are facing, which are gonna die again, by the way. The Rocket Barrage enough. Again, a kill for the Rubik. In comes the Mirana, though, with a Starstorm. She might have just jumped herself into death. Might still be able to pick up Come With Me. The arrow misses, though, and Miguel. 1 more hit needed. 2 more hits needed, I guess. Carter's not gonna be able to get that. And Mirana still got the Alchemist with an arrow. Fada coming in as well. They are able to turn it around, or at least have forced SSD back. But they still lost a StarLadder. They still lost a Lion. And they actually almost lost Mirana. But she was at least able to get a kill out of that.
Yeah, that was really close. Yeah, she managed to just about get the kill. I think one more right click would have put her down, though. But it's really important that these rotations work. The StarLadder is very obviously not going to carry this game. What he is able to do, though, is if he gets up a few more levels, I mean, he's not leveling fast by any means, but he can put amplified damage on, and that'll help negate the issue that Sigma will have with their other heroes, which is that Mirana, as well as Puck, both have relatively low right-click damage.
Yeah. Oh, Come With Me. That's a very long stun duration up on the StarLadder. Call down. No mana for the Rocket Barrage, but I don't think it's going to make a difference, especially not with that Sprout coming in. Existo, that is a saving grace coming off from the Mirana. The Moonlight Shadow helping him out. Turtle Master, Moguluk still showing himself. Courier, what are you doing here? Flying out of this again. That Moonlight Shadow is about to end. Turtle Master, it's Come With Me. He's still going to get that stun up before the Nightmare comes up from the Bane. That's going to be a kill. Nice Dream Coil coming up from Fada, though. The Orb hitting up on 2. The Silence up on 2 as well. That is going to be Rubik dead. Garter in some trouble as well, as he could well be dead with 1 more arrow. No, Mirana doesn't get it. Garter, can he get away? He jukes it. He eats his way out. They don't see him. Yes, they do see him. Bye, Garter. You're dead. That's Crush. That is Exist getting a retaliation kill right there. That Moonlight Shadow, definitely high impact there. Saving the lives of many of his teammates here on the bottom lane.
Yeah, really smart move to just immediately pop that when they went on Exist, because one issue with running an aggressive tri-lane is generally your supports don't have very much money for things like Dust and such, and that was exactly the problem there. They didn't have any piece of detection. They were diving behind the tower, and it's a horrible moment when you do that. You realise the mistake and you're like, oh god, there's nothing we can do, they're all invisible. There's nothing they could do about it.
Oh, wow. There's nothing they could do about that line kill as well. He tried to teleport himself out, realized he was in trouble. He didn't get any backup, even though Mirana was close by. She decided she couldn't do anything. And Hex stopped Rubik with the idea, you know, that's the only one that can interrupt me, but still was able to interrupt as the teleport just wasn't fast enough.
No, they're super strong, Nahaz. Super strong.
Super strong. Super strong dinosaurs, that's what they are. They are all indeed, most of them at least are indeed dinosaurs in the scene, so to speak. Been around for quite a while. And actually with these stand-ins as well, I mean, these stand-ins, Pycat, Misery, no strangers to the Dota 2 scene at all. I mean, they were at TI1. Both of them, I believe.
Yeah, these are all pretty old school players.
Yep, very. So they fit right in. I guess only Arise maybe doesn't really fit in. And Garter. Well.
Isn't Snaking normally on the team?
Yes,
is he one of the people replaced by a... Snaking's pretty young.
Yes.
He's like one of the other really young guys.
Yes.
I believe Snaking was doing the drafting at one point, which just blew my mind for me. Because I was like, Snaking doesn't look like the kind of guy to draft.
Well, sometimes I find
so the kind of guy to dive.
Well, EGM apparently is not the kind of guy to draft as well either, but he did draft for the game versus QPad.
Did he really? That's
Yep.
pretty cool.
There was a
He drafted a really exciting lineup from that game as well.
Yep.
I love that lineup.
It was.
And at the end, they were able to heal the bristleback in the enemy fountain. That's pretty scary.
That was just sick. He just stood there, and with the overcharge there, he just didn't die. He was actually healing up again. Smoke off for Sigma. They know that they need to have need to continue to keep the momentum going, to not allow SSD to just ball out of control, which is indeed something that they would be looking to do with their kind of lineup. Moonlight Shadow, though, stolen by Rubik, used. And let's see if they can find someone. They find themselves Lion first. His stun misses. The stun from Alchemist does not, though, and he will get picked up. Nice cooldown on the edge, though. Exist still got hit by the first tick. The Dream Coil, it doesn't matter. Fada tries to teleport himself out. Will be able to do that before he dies. There was a 2-for-1 arrow comes flying in. Come with me. We'll take that. But there are no ways to follow up on that one. That means that Sigma has not made their smoke successful, and it looks like maybe this Smogulik will die as well. The sun will come in. No Nightmare coming out anymore, and that's gonna be 3-for-1.
Yeah, this is a real issue for Sigma, is, like I was saying before, they don't really have quite that much damage on their lineup. They were relying on their StarLadder to do a fair amount of damage, and at this point he's walking around with boots and a TP scroll. He's really not very big at all, so they're going to have to rely on some really, really big plays from Fata as well as Miguel, because those are the two most farmed heroes for their team, which is why really Miguel going for this drum build that he's going for, not a huge fan of it. I would like him to pick up, something like a Yasha instead, just because he needs as much damage, he needs as much maneuverability as possible. Although Drum's still, a relatively reliable item in general.
Yeah, I don't know when Rubik got a Fiend script, but he has a Fiend script. And that's going to be the end of Fada right there.
Oh wow, that is bad that he managed to get the Fiend script from them. I mean, it's a very easy spell to steal because there's nothing a Bane can do about it. He can't sit there and be like, oh, I need to use another spell whilst I'm channeling this one. So he is going to lose that. I don't know when he got that either.
No. It's a good steal. It's just reminding me like how long it is ago since I actually casted a match from LCD International, because they're just fun players to watch. They just make plays, and yeah, like, okay, you know what? It's noticeable that they are on a very high competitive team. It's a noticeable difference. For sure. It's fun too.
Yeah, these are both really aggressive teams. I think Sigma are just a little bit less so. They're a little bit more controlled, but Super Strong Dinosaurs just like, they're like, screw the normal way of playing Dota. We're just going to attack you all the time. And with, like you said, with the fact that they're using players from LGD.int.
Yeah.
Where did that kill come in?
That's
I'm sorry, I totally missed that.
Well, that was a Fiend script coming on the bottom lane, or on the between. Well, right here. Near the.
A little bit confused as to why a Venomancer was there, to be honest.
I think he was placing. No, he wasn't placing a ward. Well, then I don't know. By the way, you were just talking about how aggressive SSD was. Miguel is really trying to follow suit. He was able to kill off the gyrocopter by himself on the top tier 1 tower, so that's a pretty good solo kill for Miguel. Was able to leap himself over the tree line afterwards to get away. And they also are trying to get themselves a bit of extra gold advantage here in the mid lane, as the Gale misses. The Poison Nova only hits upon the Mirana. Perhaps they can at least kill her, but she just leaps herself away. Dream Coil up on Carter. He will not die though. The mechanism comes out to heal him, but that was a pretty trigger happy Venomancer that wasn't even able to get anything done. Maybe they can get themselves a tower, but right now they are 5-manning so much that the Mirana and the Puck, they are very close to the same net worth as the Knights. Oh, wait a second. Arrow comes in. There's no Finger of Death actually coming out from Mad, but SSD, even though they're fighting so much, they're not necessarily getting ahead. They're not for sure. Phase Shift, is that stolen by yeah, Phase Shift stolen by the Rubik. Always a great spell to have. Chemical Rage Up, I come with me. They want to try and take this tower. They have to be. Oh, actually, Lion has to be careful. Uses his stick charges. In comes the medallion. Nice Nightmare, Small Gullig. Also, these small plays, these small big plays, they are so good. So good.
Yeah, and they've picked up really nice heroes for doing stuff like that. They've picked up a lot of really, really hard to use, but very, very rewarding heroes on the side of Sigma. Things like the Mirana, things like the Bane, even heroes like Lion, who is working with a massive cooldown on his first level of Finger of Death. You have to be really careful with making sure you don't use that in a bad situation, because if so, you ain't got it again for another 160 seconds, and This could be scary for Exist here, who's on the bottom lane, hiding from the entire lineup of SSD bar 1.
Yeah, he uses all his tangos to hide himself some more. He doesn't have a teleport scroll, but also afraid to just move around. I don't blame him though. We do have our first Necronomicon for the Nature's Prophet. Gyrocopter's still opted to go for Hand of Midas on the side of SSD. Let's take a look if we can find some more items. The Venomancer, of course, having his mechanism ready. And we already saw the Alchemist with his medallion, of course. Oh, we might have a bit of trouble for Come With Me though, because from behind, in they come, the arrow will miss. But Mad, he can just walk up and hex Come With Me if they want to try and at least secure the tower. I think that's going to be the case. Yep, tower down. And Alchemist down as well. That is a pretty good kill. Secured, for sure.
Yeah, you kind of need to spend that Finger of Death there, just because it's an Alchemist with his ulti on. He's got ridiculous regen for this stage of the game. It's very, very difficult to burst him down. And yeah, 13-minute mech coming out from the Venomancer, as pointed out. I think this is a really, really smart item choice, because Venomancer, he's relatively squishy. If he does manage to get this off in the fight though, it's going to be really important for SSD, because they've been playing very, very aggressive, they've been diving deep underneath towers and such, so they really need to make sure they have a mech, especially because Sigma, like I said before, they have a little bit of an issue with having very much damage at the moment. They don't have too much burst, they don't even have that much right-click damage. It's a little bit iffy for them.
Oh, I love this. I mean, the Moonlight Shadow went off, but because of that ward in the middle lane, SSD saw that and they realized, okay, people are in trouble. So everybody across the map backed off. Gyrocopter therefore being kept safe because the Fiend Script from Smogulik was aimed at him, with Miguel, of course, there to do the damage. It's pretty scary right now as he is still hiding. He still has that Fiend Script, and there's still no backup for the Gyrocopter. But with him being behind his tower, they're gonna wait until he's visible again. I mean, I like what Sigma is doing, because SSD, of course, the one that at the start of the game had utter control in terms of where, when, what happened. But Sigma replied with aggression, fighting fire with fire, and it's paying off, for sure.
Yeah, totally agree. At the moment, I mean, look what SSD are doing. They're pretty much 5-man smoking up. The only one not involved in this is going to be Garter, and most of them are grouping up. Looks like they might actually go for Roshan here, which...
No, they have a medallion.
I think they're unsure of where Sigma even are.
Yeah, I don't blame them, because Bane has been sitting in the thing for a long time. Well, apparently Sigma is also unaware where they are. They just sent an orb to the Roche pit, and they didn't see anybody there. So this is the perfect timing for SSD to do this, because they know that Sigma just checked this. And they show that there's a Nature's Prophet on the top lane, so, you know, he is not around there. And they will take down Roshan fast enough before anybody of Sigma realizes, I think.
It's getting more and more obvious. I mean, if you look at the map, if you're on the side of Sigma, you think, where can they be?
I think
but they're not going to have enough time to stop them anyway, because the medallion as well as the acid spray for that. So Gyrocopter picks up an Aegis.
Yeah, the ping came off, but by that time it was already too late. There was no way anymore. In the meantime, I want to have Tumbleweed going around or something, because that Bane has been sitting there for a while.
He might even get an abandon for not getting enough XP in 5 minutes. That would be really funny. I don't think that happens though in lobby games.
That doesn't happen. So
yeah,
no, that
it makes me
happen.
sad. I wish it
I think
did.
he's gonna try now though, but if he does this now, he's gonna be surprised that there's all 5 heroes of Sigma or of SSD here in the Dire Jungle. They're gonna find the puck first. He's able to get himself out, and with that said, he actually knows that they're there. There's also this ward, so that's also Turtle Master Smuggle like teleporting himself out. It is 19-12, slightly in favor of SSD on the kill score. Same thing goes for the gold graph, but really the difference is really small. Experience graph actually goes the way of SSD, because they have been taking more of the later games or later fights. Especially the difference comes from they are not grouping up as 5 all the time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things transition. SSD were winning that early game really, really well. Sigma have kind of came back into this, but they do have a lot worse late game. So they're going to go aggressive here, but again...
But they see the sentry ward. Why? That's a Fiend Script on our creep. Wow, that happened. Turtle Master Smogulik is going to be wishing he didn't do that one. Lion gets picked up as well. In the meantime, they are able to get the Alchemist with the Brain Stab. Exist. He still has his crush. Uses it. The Rocket Rush still does a lot of damage. But he is able to burn the Aegis, which is of course great. Garden will be the next target, apparently. Fiend Scripting a creep and going in Invis under a sentry board doesn't matter at all. With help of the tower, of course the gyro is back alive, but he's not able to do that much. Maybe they can get Miguel with more flak cannons, but it doesn't matter. The gyro is dead. The only one left alive is Arise. He really wants to have this Mirana. He will get his wish. And it looks like he might be able to run away with his life as well, but the tower still stands. 4 dead on the side of SSD, and only 2 died on the side of Sigma. A big win for Sigma indeed.
Definitely, and it looked like they were going to get just the 1 death on their side, because the Mirana almost managed to get away. I think she stayed in the fight just a little bit too long, and Fata managed to get away as well up here, where Come With Me on the top lane is just going for him, with around 30, maybe less HP as well. So nice escapes from both of them. And I mean, Fata, this is one of his signature heroes. He's going for pretty much what his signature item has been on the puck, which is to go for that fast Dagon. It's not particularly fast, but it's definitely an item that suits him. Very snowball player, very snowball hero.
Yeah, and a lot of squishy heroes on the side of SSD. Of course, disregarding the Alchemist, Nature's Prophet, Rubik, and Venomancer all have a very big impact. I mean, this is a solo mid Venomancer. If you can pick him up early on, it's a big deal, because that means no Mechanism, no Poison Nova. Or at least Poison Nova at the start of the fight that you can heal up again afterwards. Wait a second. Finger of Death, Garter in some trouble. A lot of trouble, I'd say. He has a teleport scroll. He will try to use it. And actually, he forces people out. That Necronomicon is doing work. Mad. We'll be very mad if he dies. He dies. That's the kill right there. Gyrocopter coming in to save the day. Pycat, he has got his BKB ready with that kill. And Garter will live.
That's going to be really, really big. If this Gyrocopter manages to keep on with his item progression, which he should be able to do relatively easy now. If he finishes his BKB and he's working with a hand of Midas, it's going to be very difficult to shut him down. But on the mid lane...
Oh, the plays! Nice Nightmare coming out from Smoogle, like making sure that that stun did not hit, instantly cancelling his Nightmare as well to not get stuck too long in the same place. Those kind of plays are just amazing. I mean, they're just great. I like them.
Yeah, something really, really hard to do. Very few players can consistently do that. I mean, it's the sort of thing which you just have to try. But really, really nice plays from them. One thing I'd like to point out is I'm pretty sure Bane has already picked up the recipe and has now finished the Gloves of Haste. And Lion, he had been sitting on a Gloves of Haste for ages, and he actually gave up and decided to buy a set of Power Treads because both the supports on the side of Sigma were trying to build up Hands of Midas. Because Midas Gaming.
Midas Gaming. Nothing beats Midas Gaming. It's also something that Pycat thinks his Midas is off cooldown. He might be looking to use it. Hello. Look a creep. Find a creep. He can find himself a troll if he wants to. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the Midases are up. Actually, you say Midases. There's only one Midas on the side of both right now, with the Bane being the first one to finish it on the side of Sigma. So
yeah.
Maybe we'll stick to one on each side. That wouldn't be too bad.
I hope so. I just feel so weird seeing it on supports though. The thing was, Mad was trying to build one up on the Lion, but he gave up. He'd had money for ages for treads, and he kept on getting to about 1,000 gold, and then dying or something, because he's a Lion. He's working with very low base HP, very, very low armor. It's a very, very easy hero to kill off very quickly, especially with the side of SSD, who have things like Alchemist on the field. So he gave up on that and just bought Power Treads, which is... That's one of those times where you know it's going to be a bad Midas if you're constantly almost getting to the money to it, and you're like, I really want it, but I can't afford it. It's sad for him because now he's going to be low on XP, which is really important for the Lion because he does need that higher levels of Finger of Death, because otherwise it's sitting at 160-second cooldown forever.
Yeah, we're seeing SSD, by the way, again pushing, again placing a central ward in range of the tower. It hasn't really worked out previous time. We'll see though. Arrow actually up on Pycat. They might look to go in on that. If they can catch him before he can use his BKB. There's no Fiend script, but there is. Yep, they get him before the BKB hits. The buyback is there though, as Bane still gets dropped. Exists with his BKB turned on, now fleeing the scene again. Nice airstrike coming out from Mad to try and block the exit there. In comes the stun. The second ward gets placed again in range of the tower. They really like doing that, by the way. But that's also a sign that they're just looking to move on, especially now that the Gyrocopter is back. Still has his BKB. There's still 3 heroes left alive on the side of Sigma though. And do they really want to fight that? Apparently they don't. They want to just take down all the towers. Is it the last outer tower? Mirana is around, or Fada's around. Miguel is, well, leaping away. Still getting stunned up, but leaping away nonetheless. Amplified damage up and come with me as in comes Fada. Drink Coil up on 3. Exist looking for the crush. He just can't get in range, getting blocked by the Treants. In comes the BKB, call down Flak Cannon, going for Exist. Telekinesis there as well. Exist will get pricked off here right now. Gyrocopter goes down with him though, and he already just bought back, so that's a big kill going the way of Sigma. But it's not big enough for them to stop going in, or is it? Maybe it is, with Fada trying some more shenanigans. Smoogly comes back, looking for him. Brain Set might be able to get something done there. Gets forced back by the Nature's Prophet ultimate. Come with me, we'll throw out a stun too as well, or will he? If he doesn't, he'll end up stunning himself. He does, and that might be a go for a Lion. Goes for the Hex. Alchemist in some trouble. Earthspike comes out as well, still getting harassed. The tower has already dropped. It will be Smoogly that dies before he can Brain Set. The stun still comes off to the Lion. Who needs a Gyrocopter when you can just walk over heroes like SSD is doing right now? The sustain is unbelievable. The Rubik stealing spells again and again is doing the work as well. This is going to be a tier 3 tower. Still Moran alive. Fada still back in this actually. The fight, again, not yet over. BKB, the second BKB in this fight exists. Goes for Come With Me. They get the kill finally. And force them out. Maybe they can still get Arise, who's trying to get himself out. Already so slow. Will be slower again after the next patch. He'll go down. Good pickup, but... And actually, they did not lose their tier 3 tower, which is great. But oh my god, that fight lasted for ages.
Really long, drawn out fight then. Lots of heroes going into the fight, coming back out for a few seconds, and then going back in. And that's the mark of both teams that have got some pretty strong sustain and or escapes, which is what Sigma have. SSD just have a lot of sustain. Like you said, they have the Alchemist, they have the mech on the Venomancer as well. I think that's something Sigma are really missing and wishing they had in this fight, but they don't really have a very good natural mech carrier at this point. VIII can't really afford the mana. Lion can kind of afford the mana just because he has the mana drain, but he's just really poor actually. And wow, Dagon built on... is this really a Dagon Rubik? I feel like that's a bit much, but apparently he just wants lots and lots of abilities and spells to throw out there. And that's what Dagon essentially is. It's just an extra nuke.
I guess that kind of describes the kind of team that SSD is at the moment, with 3 stand-ins, 2 of which are, of course, you know, Misery and Pycat. They are kind of goofy players, like, if they're not super tryhard, and this kind of shows that. It just is working out for sure. They are able to also counter-ward here, as they already realized that it was warded to begin with. Alchemist actually charging up the stun while teleporting top, lands the stun on Miguel. Can't leap away, will leap away, but will still get stunned. And already Garter and also Pycat coming in. Yeah, that's Miguel dead. Nice teleport into stun from Come With Me.
Yeah, a little bit out of position there. Not much he can do once the Nature's Prophet comes in from behind. If the Nature's Prophet hadn't been there, I think he would have probably just about escaped, but a little bit of a difficult position for him there. And Garter actually here on the Nature's Prophet, he's built up a fair amount of gold here, but for the moment he's only managed to pick up a Force Staff as well as a Necronomicon, and nobody really on either side here is terribly rich considering this is 30 minutes in, and that's because both teams are just killing each other so much.
Yeah.
Bottom tower
That is, I mean, it's 17 to 21. We're only 30 minutes into this game. The Blink Dagger now up on the StarLadder, which is really needed because they need that initiation. He went for the BKB first, which was probably the best choice, but now they can actually fight back a bit better. They could even try to go for right now for Roshan is what I was gonna say. Wow, Lion just zapped Come With Me. And the BKB baited out in the Gyrocopter, but the Moonlight Shadow will make sure that he cannot use it on anybody. That happened. The Crush comes out. That's an Nature's Prophet dead as well. Brilliant plays coming out from Sigma, and they're looking for more blood. They might be finding Arise right there. Arise trying to get away from this, or maybe they go back in. Joker, Pycat still around here as well from the side. In comes the Rubik. In comes Garter again as well. Fada will be able to pick up the Nature's Prophet with help of Miguel. Rubik will be next. Dagons used on each other. 3 is dead once again on the side of SSD. Fada might still die. He will still die. At least Pycat gets that one. They do force everybody of Sigma out. Everybody very low in the end. I mean, with the buyback coming out from the Nature's Prophet as he suicides, that's brilliant. The buyback
it was a
coming from
really nice suicide. He was running away the whole time with poison on him, stole health from a creep with brain sap as he was running away, and then suicided using the nightmare. That was pretty funny. He had to suicide as well because otherwise he was going to die from the poison. So that's really nicely timed.
Yeah, the buyback of Garter made all the difference though. Even though he died again, because of that they could go in again and they can take the Roshan still. So a good buyback coming out from SSD. They're still in control, I find, but that last fight kind of showed that Sigma feels that they're getting control back, and they definitely still have the initiation power and the power to fight overall. So cannot count them out just yet.
Yeah, definitely. For me though, one issue with their team is, as I said, they don't scale that well, and they're going to have to rely on outplaying the side of SSD, whereas as things go later, they're going to rely on a gyrocopter, which frankly is a hero that sits at the back, presses E, and right-clicks, and it does a ton of damage to everybody. You don't have to worry about doing anything complicated, and it makes the fight very simple for you. So that's going to be a serious issue for the side of Sigma, but it looks like they're still in this. They're really ahead by XP, but quite behind on gold, which is kind of ironic.
Yes, we do have the Moonlight Shadow used. They use it to initiate on the top lane. From behind, though, in comes the rest. It will be Matt that dies first. Miguel, he's already used his leap to get in there. He will end up going down as well from his own arrow actually helping out, being sent there by Misery. This is 5 heroes, 2 coming in smoke from behind. The gank came from Sigma, though. They wanted to go for someone on top, but can't do it. And now they might lose something more. We have got the Bane in the middle lane still. Looks like he wants to go for a kill on Garter. Lion ends up buying back. Good for him. He still has his ultimate as well. I'm not sure if he can save his tier 3 tower though. Because, I mean...
This is a dead tier 3.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about that glyph there.
Trying to delay the push. Giving some time for Smuggler to get back into the base perhaps as well. Time for Mirana to get back alive as they try to go for... some of the barracks here, throwing out some stuns. Cola now as well. There's Mugolik. He will get picked up rather. That's him dead. Oh, Blinken from Fada silencing up. Dagon used. Oh, figure of that. Mechanism will heal him up again though. And the crush from Exist doesn't hit anything. He'll go down. An arrow up on Rubik, but he doesn't seem to be pressured by it at all. As the Force Staff into Aegis comes out from the gyrocopter. He'll be back up alive with full health though, and they're not showing any signs of backing out from the base of Sigma.
Yeah, some really nice sustain from the side of SSD, and I think this might just be the end of the game for Sigma. They really just don't have enough on the field that can contest the side of SSD right now. They've used their Lion ulti and they're dead.
Pick up a Fada. Yeah. I mean, Bane gets still picked up as well. Alchemist was able to throw the stun, and I mean, yeah. Do you think that's because of the Bane pick? Like, if they had anything else than the Bane, would they have been able to make it work better on that bottom lane? And would they have been able to have like a more stable game for them?
Perhaps. I think it's just a really smart draft from the side of SSD, and they had a really smart game plan to deal with Sigma. I mean, Sigma, they're playing their classic style. This is what they do every game. They play dual lanes, they play for a very sort of mid-game focused, they don't pick up much in the way of right-click, and they rely a lot on their ability to coordinate. This kind of falls apart when you go up against a team like SSD, who just have a ton of units on the field with the Nature's Prophet and a ton of abilities to keep themselves alive. It's really hard to fight that sort of battle against SSD's lineup. So I think this is just a smart draft by the side of SSD. They kind of figured out Sigma here.
Yeah, I think so too. They're just being unpredictable as well. I mean, as we said, like at the start of the game, after the draft was done, it weren't the lanes that we thought that were gonna happen, and maybe Sigma wasn't expecting that either, and they just got thrown off guard. And if StarLadder gets behind, we already mentioned, he'll have a tough time, as he might actually be having a tough time again. He gets forced out of his BKB. He's now down to 5 seconds on his BKB. Ooh, nice arrow dodge, close. Mad, what's he doing? Sun being charged up by Come With Me. He won't be able to hit it. Maybe he will. The Force Staff didn't hit though. Well, now it will still hit. The Fiend's Grip up on the Nature's Prophet. Force to the high ground. The Mechanism still comes out. Garter still alive for the moment. Didn't even get hit by the poison. Now he'll go down from Mirana, but Mirana will die for that kill. So not a really favorable trade. Fada taking down poison, will not die because it's just a poison nova. Just an acid spray would do the job. Come with me. He only needs 1 punch. Oh, he didn't get it. He didn't get it. Looks like Fada will live. Who end up stunning himself. Fada is actually gonna go back in. Silence Dagon, a kill for Fada, because he is just that kind of guy. In the meantime, the rest of SSD is already bashing on a tier 3 tower, but they might just be forced out soon because it would be 3-on-3 with a Fada Puck still on the ground. He's still very low though, but still can do a lot of damage if he wishes to. Even though he jumps himself up right now.
At this point, the game is pretty much over. SSD just have a huge item advantage. Arise, he's picked up a full Aghanim Scepter as well as a Veil right now. So he can basically do a billion magic damage to the side of Sigma. It's absolutely ridiculous how much he can do. Gyrocopter's now got a full Butterfly, probably looking towards getting an MKB as his next item. If he really wants to go insane, he might pick up a Rapier, but... Wait, has he just picked up another Eagle song? Oh, this is actually a smart move. He might just go double Butterfly, because the thing is, there's nobody on the side of Sigma who's going to get themselves an MKB. So if he just gets more evasion, it's ridiculously cost-effective, effective HP for the side of SSD. So this is kind of smart. I mean, the only natural carrier for an MKB on the side of Sigma is a Mirana, who is nowhere close to picking up that. So I kind of like this. People are stacking butterflies. Yay.
Yay. Stacking butterflies. Who doesn't like stacking butterflies? How often do we see that? Nahaz, pull up stat. How often do we see stacked butterflies? And if he actually is getting time...
Or just stacked evasion. Just stacked evasion at all. I don't think I've ever seen it before in a pro game, and this is going to probably be the first time if he does finish this.
If he finishes it, that is the key right there, because right now SSD, I mean, they are so much on the back foot right here that... Well, it could be E-Blade as well. As I mentioned during a previous game, E-Blade Gyrocopter is a legit item build. We'll see though.
I don't want it to be E-Blade though. I want it to be stacking butterflies. That's like way cooler.
Like this, you still have his BKB, but it doesn't matter. He'll die first. BKB would help from the right click damage coming out from that Gyrocopter, and he knows it too. At least the Moonlight Shadow will, well actually it doesn't help if you have amplified damage on you. So they'll still see Franz, they'll still see Mad.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Let's see how far they get and if it's gonna be a serious push or if they're gonna dive. They could actually dive because they are of course SSD. Super strong dinosaurs don't back up for no tier 3 tower. Telekinesis Miguel might be in some trouble. Nope. Sun being charged up. Come with me. Resilence up for the moment. Wow! He just ran into his death. Same thing for Fado though. He blinked himself into death as Mad tries to delay the push. Pycat. Call down. We'll hit up on Matsu as well on the edge of it. He can't get away. We'll go down to the Rubik. The GG now called. It will be going to SSD. No surprises coming out there, at least not after we've seen this game. SSD, super strong dinosaurs indeed. They take themselves a win, and they indeed create a stain on the so far perfect records of Sigma. They are now 3-1 rather than 3-0. We are going to see Sigma play another game though. This game, they will go up against Aspera, so a different nature of team, as in more like a CIS team rather than a European... a Western European team, as I don't think they're... Actually, Garter is American, so... Western team. Anyways, we'll see more of Sigma in a moment, so stick around. The official starting time of the game is in 10 minutes from now, so you have got yourself a bit of time to grab yourself a snack if you want to. But we'll be right back with more Dota.